quiz. Can you make a big guess? Where am I from? Party Post. And I don't know why am I answering my own question, but okay. Hi everyone. My name is Aileen, and I'm the marketing manager for Party Post Malaysia. So just really quickly, can I see a show of hands? Those are actually seated around here. How many of you are influencers slash content creators? No one? Oh, okay. We have one. Okay, that's good. We have number two. Okay, good. So, okay, I guess today's topic will be how having a real job can help you become a more valuable content creator. What I'm trying to promote today is not influencer as a full-time job, but how you can actually use it as a side hustle. So, before I go into the subject matter, I'm very grateful for Aileen for giving me this opportunity to be here today to actually talk about, influencer and also content creation journey. So can we move on to the next slide, please? Okay, anyone who has a part-time job or a side gig? Different question from the earlier one, but it's okay, we can move on to the next slide. And then, do you love creating content on social media? Why not monetize your efforts? So I believe most of you have your social media platforms here. You definitely have Instagram and TikTok, or Lemonade, or even Xiaohongshu, right? As long as you have 200 ringgit, 200 followers and above on on your platform, you are able to monetize your posts. And when I talk about monetizing, is basically posting something and getting money, real money that you can actually spend on Starbucks and the next bag that you're eyeing for, right? Okay, we can move on to the next slide. Before I actually go into, more depths into the topic of today, I would like to also share with you guys on the definitions of content creator and also influencers. So content creator and influencers are actually people who actually post stuff on social media platforms like IG, TikTok, and also Lemonades and yada yada yada. So what kind of content am I talking about? I'm talking about, it could be a picture, it could be a video, it could also be a blog post or even a podcast. So generally, content creators and influencers, they actually have their niche whereby they are always specialized in a particular topic. For example, you follow Jen for some slapstick comedy. You follow, who else out there? Jane Chuck for fashion, for example. And then you follow Chatty, right, for his foodie blogs and stuff like that. So everybody has a niche and everybody has content to share. But what makes these two people so different? So basically, these people are people with followings on their social media platform. And because we live in a world where everything is so digitally connected, we are also digitally connected, it only makes sense for us to have presence on social media. And last but not least, right, we are also bridging the gaps between brands who are actually looking to sell their products and also services, whereby we can actually connect them to each other so that they can actually leverage one another to actually, number one, to spread the word, number two is to earn money. If we can move on to the next slide, please. So we actually have some statistics to share as well. So the Malaysian government ran a survey last year in 2022, and it actually shows 72% of SPM graduates prefer to become influencers. On top of that, they were also talking about e-hailing and also, food delivery people. But then there are these three potential reasons why they actually think that influencers is the way to go, right? Number one, more employment opportunities on gig platforms. So when we talk about gig platforms, we talk about social media. The second one is basically the influence of social media, because we are always on the social media platform. And then we can see, wow, this person is getting sponsored, right? They actually get money, so why not I do it too? Number three is having good academics results might not guarantee high-paying jobs. Sorry? Or you want me to go closer? Okay. I actually think that I'm talking very loud already. Okay. So, so these are some of the stats. Then we move on to the next slide. So we just want to share with you really quickly so what some of the content creators and influencers think about, influencing. So if you can actually see here, we actually interviewed 4 of our influencers. So Minkit was saying that she is able to earn income while working with her favorite brands. The second one is Jean, right? Jean mentioned to be able to build my portfolio on social media. And then Aaron said, I'm able to express my creativity and also inspire my audiences. Xian Fa mentioned, I want to do this to expand my network and also connect with like-minded people. So we move on to the next slide. So if you resonate with any of these boxes here, so basically there are 6 boxes, if you're outspoken, love to inspire people around you, you're inquisitive, love sharing memories on social media, you're creative, and you love being in front or behind the camera, content creating is for you. Anyone here hits 50% of the boxes? Only 1. Okay, hopefully later there will be more. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So when we talk about creating content, it's not just taking pretty pictures. It's really not. So basically, skills required to be a successful content creator, there is actually 6 buckets. So basically, the first one is storytelling. So storytelling is very essential to a content creator because it's not just posting about something that you're passionate about. The most important thing is you're posting up something that resonates with people and that people would then follow you. Then we talk about creative skills. We talk about strategic and analytical mindset. We talk about communication skills, and last but not least, time management and also quick learning. Quick learning especially is very important these days. It's not just for content creation because the world is evolving, as we speak right now, and social media algorithm change every single day. So you got to know what is trending right now. You got to know what is happening right now so that you'll be able to, create content or even have a communication with someone that will be able to drive conversations, right? It's not just saying something for the sake of saying, but at the most important thing is you're saying something that people feel strongly about and the conversations keep going on. We can move on to the next slide. So how does now we go to the real meat, right, of the entire talk today. How having a real job can help you become a more valuable content creator. Regardless whether or not your journey here is to become a content creator or not, but at the end of the day, the real job will definitely help you to gain a lot of experiences and a lot of insights in the real world. So some of the things that I will be running through is, number 1, we talk about gaining professional experiences. We talk about communicative skills, strategic and analytical mindsets. We talk about time management, and we also talk about real world inspirations, right? So these are the 5 buckets that there is. Why having a real job will help you become a more valuable content creator. If we move on to the next slide, I will explain a little bit more about how each bucket and how it will help you in the long run. So number 1, we talk about gain professional experiences. Let's take a breather, take a step back and think about it. When it comes to content creation, it is always about storytelling. And when it comes for a content creator, it is very important that you have stories to tell. What is the best way to actually get stories? Through your work experiences. So hence, gaining professional experiences will be able to give you more insights and more stories to actually tell your people, tell your friends and your followers. So through having your own experiences at work, you will know for sure what you like and what you don't like. Hence, you have the ability to find your niche. I am not so good at tech. I am not a fitness junkie. I'm definitely a beauty person, right? So from there, you for sure will know what is the niche that I want to go for. Second thing is, because you are working in a work setting, you actually work with different people. You are able to gain this storytelling and also creative skills. Because for example, you're pitching an idea to your boss, you definitely need to do a PPT. You need to come up with an idea and you need to say it out. You have to pitch to your boss that your boss will buy your idea and not your other colleague. So basically, this is how you actually gain storytelling skills. Last but not least is to increase your credibility. So when we talk about professional experiences, just as you are looking for a job today with a resume, it's the same thing. When you talk about content creation, people look at your resume, and your resume is not that paper that you actually send to HR. Your resume is basically your Instagram platform, your TikTok platform, what kind of content you're sharing. So that is your resume. So basically, it increases your credibility when they actually take a look at your strategies and they look at your pictures and also your videos. So that will be the first one. We move on to the second one. We talk about communication skills, right? So before I even go through the slides, let me just ask you guys a really quick question. How can you have an effective communication with someone? Anyone has an idea? Maisa, do you want to try? Thank you so much for your answer. You are half correct. You're half correct. Because most of the time, people think that communication is just talking to one another. But what is the point of talking when that person don't understand what you're saying? So in a way, your communication skills will come into play especially if you want to create authentic and also relatable content. You go to work every single day. You meet different type of colleagues. They have different expectations. They come from different culture. They come from different background. Even if you ask a salesperson, for example, they talk to every client differently because every client most probably have their different objectives. And then most probably your tone and manner had to adjust accordingly to close the sale, for example. And then let me also give you another example why communication skills is important at work. For example, if you're working in the HR line and just say your boss decide to retrench half of the company, as a HR, how do you communicate it in a way, in a tone that is empathetic, at the same time will be able to show those colleagues that have been retrenched that they are being cared for? So these are the things that you are able to learn at work. Number one, that is how you can actually convey your message effectively. It's not just words, it is a lot more than words. Second thing is collaborate with other creators or brands. This is if you are a content creator. But imagine you're in a work setting. How do you actually collaborate? You have team members, right? So basically communicating with your team members to work together, to even put together this Highly event. It takes a lot, right? It's not just talking, but how do you talk to different stakeholders to make things work and get approvals done, right? So basically that is number two. Number three is building long relationship with brands. So there is always a two-way communication. If you want to have a long-term communication with someone, not just a brand, there needs to be two-way communication. It's not just one way. So if it's one way, let me tell you, your communication already failed. So there needs to be two-way to make sure that there is feedback, you're listening, and then how can you then adjust accordingly and adapt to make sure that you can communicate your point across accordingly. So that will be the 3 points. Then we move on to the next slide. We talk about strategic and analytical mindsets. Let me tell you, at most time, not just work, even for content creators, it is your bread and butter. Because at the end of the day, imagine going to work. Your boss say, okay, Aileen, you have to do this. You have to do a promotion for this particular campaign or for this particular product. Obviously, your boss will say, okay, my KPI to you is 20,000 people need to sign up in the first month. So we talk about matrix, we talk about, data. But how do we achieve this? Most importantly is we always go through work experiences. Like for example, you work in a project, you do postmortems. You already know, okay, for the first task itself, when I did the first campaign, wasn't that great? Why? Maybe the venue wasn't great. Why? Maybe the people was not briefed enough, for example, right? So it's when you sit down and do postmortem, do A/B testings, and then sit down and look through your postmortems. That is how you can actually come up with strategies. And then you can analyze your data to make more informed decisions. So let me tell you, it's not just that your bosses is going to love you if you deliver those metrics, but content creators, on the other hand, for example, brands, if they are looking for you to actually post a certain thing, at the end of the day, they will also expect some metrics being hit. So no matter where you go, metrics and KPIs will follow you, even if you are an influencer. So what I'm trying to say is, please use this time to sit down and strategize what you need to do and what is the next step. So it's never just work, and it's not just, content creator. It's even like, for example, what are we going to eat after this? You have to strategize as well, right? So yes, let's move on to the next slide. We talk about time management. I think it's the bane of every human being when it comes to time management. I think everybody hates time management, including myself. But through work, you are able to plan your content ahead of time. When we talk about planning content ahead of time, how does work come into play? You go to office, you have projects, and sometimes not only one project, you have a few projects, and you have a team to work with, right? So basically, you will sit down together with your team, and then you're going to map up the timeline. When you map up the timeline, you will then decide, okay, what am I going to do now? What are the things that we need to do in this quarter? What are the strategies? Can we do it ourselves? Do we need to delegate? Do we need to map out? Do we need to, for example, map out a strategy for it? So all this takes time. And then if you don't have this experience from the real world, it is very different and very difficult if you just want to jump into content creating and also influencer full-time, because you would not understand the implication of good time management. The second thing is basically achieving consistent posting. Content creating is all about consistency. You don't post something today, expect tomorrow for it to go boom. It doesn't work that way. So it's like the same thing. You want to lose weight, you have to go gym every single day. You want to have a lot of followings, you have to post every single day. But do you have the time for it? So what I'm trying to say is, I am not promoting influencer and content creating as a full-time job. But how do you still keep it as your second job? As your part-time job, right? So you need time management skills to map up your time. And how do you actually split up your time? For example, okay, 9 to 6 is basically my work hours. I will spend 2 hours every single day to plan my social media calendar for myself. I will need to come up with the content. So this is how time management comes into play, okay? The third thing is managing your deadlines with branded content, branded posts. It's the same thing. I think you go to work, everybody expect you to meet your deadlines. It's the same as content creating. So if you work in an office setting, you will understand why is the brand so, like, why no chill one? Why the deadline cannot postpone? But then you understand, if you work in a work setting, you will understand. Because there are other things to do. I cannot just wait for you, one person, right? So this is how working a full-time job will be able to help you manage your time better. Next slide, please. Real-world inspirations. We live in the real world, but do we know what is happening in the world every single day? Do we? Do you read the news every single day? When I say read the news, I don't mean social media news, yeah? Okay. Everybody's guilty, including myself. So basically, real-world inspiration. Being in the real world means having a real job will definitely give you access to the latest trends and also issues. Some things maybe even the people outside don't know. Just say you work in the government sector, you know a particular inflation is coming about, right? Just say you know insider news. So you will be able to be ahead of your competitors when you actually create content, because you already know, okay, in the next 2 weeks, this is coming. But if you're not working, just say, and you're just waiting for, the trends to pick up, or even to pick up popular topics on Twitter, for example, it's not going to work. You're definitely one step behind already. So how can you be ahead of your game? And it's not just about content creation, it's about work as well. So like for example, if your boss is going to ask you something, and they say, okay, I'm looking for ideas, you give A, B. But even your A, B, right, it has to be related to the current world. It cannot be like, oh, I suka, I decide to actually put A and B. It doesn't work that way. You need to do your research. So stay ahead of other creators I've mentioned earlier, and then provide exclusive and valuable content. Because when there is a pressing news, or there is a topic or a trend that is happening, you are able to push out a content right at that moment, because it gives you exclusivity. You are ahead of your game. Not many people are posting. You are one of the first few. So that is how you always put yourself ahead of your competitors. So that will be the gist of it, like some of the main points of how having a real job can actually help you help you become a better content creator. But we can then move on to the next slide. So we actually also have content creators who are also having a full-time job at Party Post. Just really quickly, Party Post, we are an influencer agency. We own an app where we actually advocate everyday word of mouth from everyday people. So we don't advocate, like micro, macro, or even the celebrity influencers. We are giving voices to everyday people who has a full-time job. So basically, content creation is not their first priority. Their second priority is only because they want to make extra income. That's about it. So we actually interviewed some of our influencers. So we have Alison, who is a marketing specialist. So she mentioned that I love the concept of nano influencers, and it motivates me to create more content, to share the tips to get anyone started. I often blend some of the latest trend in my content to make it more interesting, and my audience loved it. Then we have Jinping, who is also a student. I started promoting brands on my socials every day, and I can earn side income beside juggling my studies. So as a student, I always seek out the best deals in town, and I share it with my audience. Their positive feedback is what drives me to continue on this side gig. And then after that, we also have Mr. Yo Guan Kim, who is an insurance agent, right? Insurance agents are usually very busy. So my busy schedule taught me to better manage my time. So I can always spare time to plan my content ahead of my deadlines. So also thanks to my job, I get to invest in tools and resources that could help me create better content and also captivate audience attention. So these are some of the things that what content creators are talking about. We can move on to the next slide. So how do you get started, right? So if you ever think of picking up content creation as a second priority, as a tool to earn your pocket money, right? So number one, the most important thing is you need to find your niche. Ask yourself, what do you love to do? What is your hobby? What is something that all your friends will praise you about? Wow, where do you get the best deals in KL? I don't even know about this, right? So is it food, or is it getting the best deals in town? Things like that. So ask yourself, what is your niche? The second thing is find your platform. And why is important? As a marketer, let me tell you, find a social media platform that you can resonate with and that you're comfortable with. And why do I say this? Most of the time, there are a lot of brands that comes to us and say, Aileen, I want to be on TikTok. And I'm like, okay, what do you sell? I sell electric saw. Okay. And what kind of content are you looking for? I want to dance around my electric saw and get more views. Let me tell you, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I know when you go to TikTok, there's a lot of silly contents and stuff like that. But let me tell you, at the end of the day, people still want to look at wholesome content. that resonates with them, right? So finding it is okay. So this is me telling you, it's okay not to be on all platforms. If you like IG, you like aesthetics, go ahead. You don't like TikTok because of the silliness, is fine. Just stick to one and then be the best in your game. The third thing is plan your content. So basically using the 3W1H instead of the 5W1H, easier, okay? So what, when, which, and how. So basically when you plan your content, ask yourself questions. And then if you're already doing all this, from work, you have all these insights and data that you already have, how do you actually create a content that will then relate to them? Last but not least, of course, you have the platform ready. You have the followers to boot. What's next? Earning money. So looking for brand sponsorships. Those days, looking for brand sponsorship is not as easy as you think it is today. However, if you are a budding content creator and you do not know where to start, you can definitely join our platform. Yes, a bit hard sell. So join our platform, as there will be a list of campaigns that you can actually join. No matter girl, boy, no matter if you're young or old, regardless of what your background, there is something for you if you do not know where to start. We move on. So we are nearing the end, but we talk about content creating as a side hustle. I think at the end of the day, it's very important, the art of balancing. I think everybody need to have a healthy balance. It's not just about hustling all the time. So you cannot just live your 24/7, just doing full-time work and then your side gig. I think we need to have a life too, right? So that we can have more stories to tell. So these are some of the useful tools that we have curated to facilitate your content creation journey. And to be honest, it's just not for content creation. You can actually use it for work as well. So number one, we talk about CapCut. I think everybody knows this. So it's an all-in-one video editing app which is very beginner friendly. So if you ever want to start creating reels and start monetizing, or even you just came back for a nice holiday, you want to create a nice reel for your IG reel page, right? You can definitely do that. The second thing is ChatGPT. Needs no introduction. I will be surprised if none of you guys have used ChatGPT. So definitely use it. The third thing is basically answer the public. A tool to discover what people are asking for. As a content creator, even as a marketer, or even no matter what industries you are in, it is very important to know what are people talking about. What kind of information are they seeking for? And how do you fill up the gap? So basically, this answer the public will be able to help you to bridge you some context, to give you some context on how you can actually move forward from there. Then we talk about Snapseed. Snapseed is a go-to photo editing tool that can actually help you create aesthetic and high quality photos. Last but not least, of course, we have the Meta Business Suite. You guys know Facebook and IG is from Meta, right? And then WhatsApp as well, right? Okay. So basically, it's a platform to manage your account on a holistic approach, from scheduling posts to even content insight. It is very important when you post up a content, you need to know how is it faring. There is a lot of ways you can do A/B testings as well. Okay, I did this caption. Did it work? It didn't work. Okay, let's try the second one. Maybe they like long form. Long form means long caption. Let's try, right? Maybe your audience you don't know. So you do a lot of A/B testing. You need to actually check your insights as well. Last but not least, if you reach a stage where you want to boost your content, then you will actually use the app, Meta ad as well, to actually post out advertorials, be it on Facebook and also Meta on Instagram. We can move on. So, like I mentioned, before every great reward comes the footprints of persistency, consistency, perseverance, courage, faith, and also patience. Rome was not built in one day. If you want Rome, start building your Rome today. Okay? Then, next slide, please. Okay, so how can Party Post help? I just gave you a snapshot earlier. So basically, Party Post, we are an influencer app that actually bridge brands and also influencers. So if you are looking to join this content creation community and you don't know where to start, right? Download our app today. And then you will actually see there are a list of campaigns that you can actually join. So all you have to do is just snap, post and earn. And of course, there is a timeline to it. But yes, all you have to do is just snap, post and earn. So it is free to download and easy to join campaigns. It's low entry barrier to work with your favorite brands. Like I've mentioned, some of you guys just need 200 IG followers or TikTok followers. Last but not least, transparent payout structure and earn real money. We don't give you points. We don't give you vouchers. We give you cash. So yes. Next slide, please. So just a little bit more background. So basically, Party Post started in 2016 in Singapore. We are currently in 7 countries. Hence, we actually have a network of 800,000 followers, Party Posters. That's how we call our influencers. So we are actually in Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Taiwan, Thailand, Vietnam, and also Hong Kong. Okay, so this is where we are at now. Next slide, please. So these are some of the brands, just a snapshot. So if you were to visit our app today, so you will be able to see some of these brands there. So if these are some of the brands that you want to try to get money from, please join our campaigns. Next slide, please. So just really quickly, I do not know if you guys have already walked the whole entire area. We have a Party Post booth, which is very near to the lift area. So we are actually doing giveaways. So some of the things that we are giving away are like face masks, notebooks, tote bag, and also a mug. So if you want to, get some freebies, you can visit our booth. And what you need to do is just next slide. Yes. So basically, this is all what you need to do. Number 1, you just need to scan the QR code to access the IG filter, or basically just go to Party Post Malaysia's IG page, play this filter, and then just insert these tags and also hashtags. And then you will be able to walk away with those kind of merchandise. And I think the last slide is, ask me anything if you have any. Anyone has any questions? If not, that will be it. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, thank you so much for Aileen. Can I get a round of applause for her? Aileen, if it's okay, can I have you back on the stage for a little while longer? All right. Thank you so much for the speech. I'm pretty sure it's very inspiring. Some of us can actually go over to the Party Post booth, as Aileen mentioned, and learn more about them if you want to learn more. All right. So Aileen, as a token of gratitude, we actually have car stickers that was designed by our amazing marketing team. So there are 2 designs. I will read out both to you. So you can go back with whichever that maybe relates more to you. Would that be all right? Okay. So the first one says that 20% of my job is driving to the office. Yeah, it relates to some of us because morning jam, even after work, there is a lot of jam. Uni students, we all know that suffering as well. But also the other one, which is my personal favorite, it says, stop, I don't get paid enough to fix my car. So please, do not bang my car. I'll put it behind so that people can see that. And I know my car, my baby. Yeah. So all right, Aileen, would you want to pick one? All right, sure.
Spend 20% going to the office.
Exactly. All right. Thank you so much, Aileen, for the amazing speech. And thank you, everyone here, for tuning on and also coming to our speeches from different speakers and everything. So that marks the end of our speakers throughout this all 3 days. But fear not, the career fair is still on. All right. We'll be here till 6 o'clock. If you have time, please go around, talk to different employers. They will be here to give you any information about their company as well. And thank you again, everybody, for being here. If you have any questions, do feel free to ask anyone. Anyone in Highly, any heroes are more than willing to help everyone. And thank you, everybody.